Hello, my name is Nell, and I have things to say about disability, chronic illness, mental health, and occasionally current affairs because I want to throw those in every now and again. If that sounds like something that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. Come back every second Wednesday when I upload new videos. Let me know what you think of my videos in the comments section, and if you know of somebody who would benefit from or enjoy one of my videos or the whole channel, please feel free to send them my way. I'm going to be talking about something quite heavy today, and so I'm going to be putting out a huge trigger warning and content warning. I'm going to be talking about society's perceptions of and attitudes towards female abusers, female predators, female groomers. I decided to talk about this topic when I was scrolling through the Daily Mail the other day. It's my really tacky, guilty pleasure, I guess. And I came across a headline that said, "Detox heiress shows toned body ahead of sex with boy 14 trial." I'm going to throw up a screenshot that I took on my phone of this headline because I thought it was just so disgusting and shocking. And I just immediately had to go like, oh my gosh, I just saved that because I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. Interestingly, that headline can now no longer be found. It's not anywhere. The headline is now, "Smart Cleanse naturopath Savannah Daisley, 46, posts naked photographs online to promote her business weeks before she faces trial over allegations she had sex with a 14-year-old boy." So it's no longer shows toned body, but it's just she posts naked photos. And I started thinking about the way we as a society have such different attitudes towards male and female abusers of children, male and female predators. We often treat female perpetrators of abuse incredibly gently. We almost romanticize them. In a lot of the articles about this woman, and we see it a lot in articles about female predators, they are glamorized. They are shown as being seen as being glamorous and beautiful. And they're claiming that they have sex with teenagers. This woman, all of these articles say that she had sex with a 14-year-old. An adult cannot have sex with a 14-year-old. If an adult engages in sexual activity with a 14-year-old, it is not sex. It is abuse. It is rape, but it's not sex. And what this woman did should make her repulsive to us. Instead, she's still being seen as an object of desire. She's still being seen as something that is beautiful and attractive. And you can't help but feel that underneath everything, there's still the prevailing opinion for some that the kid got lucky. You know, that, some people might be thinking, man, if only I had a woman like that for my first time, or like that kid got lucky, you know. But this isn't hot. This isn't sexy. It's disgusting. I want to show you some of the articles of this woman because they are so frustrating, the way they are presenting her. I am just going to bring these articles up and I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can have a look with me. So we start with one. Smart Cleanse naturopath Savannah Daisley, 46, who is accused of having sex with a 14-year-old boy, hires celebrity lawyer Brian Wrench to defend her at trial. Again, having sex with a 14-year-old boy. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, looking nice. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. This is how we're viewing a female predator. All right. That's how she's looking. And yeah, looking nice. Beautiful. Yeah. Smiling, gorgeous. Something I noticed is that they're often highlighting her Instagram followers. Good for her. Let's have a look for another one. Court win for heiress and entrepreneur accused of child sex. Child sex. Not abuse, but child sex. Smiling. Beautiful. Big smiling photo. Lovely smiling photo. Smiling photo. Gorgeous. This is the one I mentioned before. Okay, so that's a child predator right there. That's a child predator. Yeah, okay. That's okay in that photo again. Yeah. Yeah, because we need to see that for a child abuser. Okay. Now let's have a look at a couple of articles about men who've abused children. Let's have a look at this one. We start off with a mugshot, as it should be. Inappropriate relationship with children. Okay, so with student. Okay, so it's not just, he had a relationship with his student. It's inappropriate for this guy. And that's the only photo they have of him. This guy groomed a student. He groomed a student. All right. Just a regular photo, just a normal photo. Doesn't glamorize him. It's just a guy. Okay, on trial for sexual assault and sexual exploitation. And again, just photos of him looking like a guy. Looking like a guy. I saw somebody on Instagram recently make an interesting point. They brought up the idea that some men might not have reported their own abuse because they didn't realize it was abuse. For some men, their initial sexual experiences might have been with an older woman who was in a position of care or in a position of power or authority. It would have been, somebody in a caring role, a teacher, a friend's mum. And so they didn't put it down to abuse because that person made them feel special, made them feel very grown up. And so to see a case like this and to hear people say that that's abusive, that's confronting, because if they then acknowledge that that's abusive, they have to acknowledge that their own experience was abusive. There's an article on Taylor and Francis online called "The Attitudes Towards and Perceptions of Females Who Sexually Offend Against Children: A Comparison Between Students and Professionals." And it was very interesting. There was one part, I'm just going to pick some things out because they were very, very interesting. Attitudes towards and perceptions of females who have committed sexual offences are more likely to be positive. Given that this type of offending behaviour is perceived to be more foreign, the general public therefore endorses gender stereotypes and consequently minimises sexual offences committed against children by females. They are considered less harmful and at times even glorified when they involve underage male victims. Heatherton and Beardsall explored different professionals' decision-making in child protection cases and their attitudes towards male and females who committed sexual offences against children. They found that both police officers and social workers believed that case registration and prison sentences in hypothetical scenarios were more appropriate for males. The authors suggested that this was due to females not being viewed as dangerous as males. I mean, this attitude, does it tie into this being seen as a foreign behaviour? Do we think that women can't be predators? Do we think that they can't be groomers and pedophiles? Do we think that if a woman engages in an abusive relationship with a child, it was just a mistake, just a slip up? But if a man does it, then it's part of an inevitable ongoing pattern of behaviour. Furthermore, when Denov explored how professionals understood and framed sexual offences committed by females, they found that police officers and psychiatrists minimised the seriousness of these in comparison to offences committed by males, regarding them as less harmful and suggesting that there was no malicious intent in their offending. So, a man will abuse because he wants to hurt and corrupt, but a woman will accidentally abuse because it's, misplaced love or affection. The prevailing perception seems to be that a woman's abuse is accidental. She doesn't go into it with the intention of causing harm, but a man's abuse is intentional. Notably, responsibility appears to be removed through society viewing females as nurturing, being coerced by a male offender, or offending in the context of teacher-student dynamic. Sexual offending by females is hard to comprehend, given that females are perceived to be nurturing, caring, and have a motherly role. Consequently, people have difficulty understanding how women can perpetrate such offences. It contrasts with the perceived gender roles and incapability of women to act this way. This creates dissonance and can lead to cognitive strategies that attempt to reduce this, such as denial, rationalization, or minimization of the offending behavior. Gakal and Brown further suggest that the fact that females commit sexual offences can evoke an effect of double deviance. Because this type of behavior is counter-stereotypical, it elicits an impression of greater deviance. Attitudes towards and perceptions of females who sexually offend may therefore be more positive or overly harsh. I think this is incredibly interesting because we often do see this opinion. We either see women who are predators as, forgivable, as I'm sure they didn't mean it, or, they probably were just looking for something different and this is just misguided, or they are the devil. See people like Rose West or Myra Hindley, who were child predators. We see them as the devil incarnate, evil incarnate for what they did, because it was so far removed from what a woman should be. Whereas if a man offends, it's like, well, men can be predators. That's just... It's easier for people to assume that a man can be a predator than a woman. But with women, it's either excusable or the worst of the worst. There is nothing in between. Gakal and Brown suggest that in comparison to males, females who committed sexual offences in the past can reintegrate in society more easily. The authors argued that this was due to attitudes towards females who sexually offend not being firmly established by society. As a result, attitudes are more malleable, especially when compared to the more stable negative attitudes held towards male sexual offenders. Now, the study presents the idea that the role of women in society facilitates offending and the prevention of detection. People don't see them as a threat. I mean, many fathers are viewed with suspicion if they take their kids to the park by themselves. But as a woman, you could take somebody else's kids to the park and say openly, oh, these aren't my kids, they're my neighbor's kids, and no one would take issue. Whereas if you're a man and you go to the park with your own children, people will still side-eye you. We don't see women as a threat. So it enables offending. It enables the prevention of detection. As for the reasons, some of the people interviewed for the study could only believe that the reason a woman would offend is if they're mentally ill, is if they have hormonal issues, or if she was convinced or forced by a man, or if she was desperate for love or attention, or if she'd been a victim of abuse in the past. All of which they were like, well, it's not really her fault. She couldn't really help it. She didn't know right from wrong. Everything... It was this constant explaining away anything these people could do to explain it away and make it think, no, like women can't do that. So if a woman did that, it must have been something controlling her, something that made her not a woman anymore, something that took her away from who she was and who she would normally be and what she would normally do. Overall, participants sought to explain offending behavior by referring to biological and mental health related factors they perceived to play a contributing role, thereby removing responsibility from women who sexually offend against children. Interestingly, a lot of the most hated child abusers and murderers were also mentally ill and had been brutally abused as children, but they don't get a pass. I mean, rightly so, because no one deserves a pass in situations like that. But neither do the women. No one does. Even if there are reasons to explain this behavior, they are not excuses. There is nothing okay about a female predator. There is nothing desirable about a female predator. There is nothing acceptable or forgivable about a female predator. And an adult woman who engages in sexual activity with a person under the age of consent is a predator. No matter how pretty they are, no matter how nice they look in their courtroom photographs, they're a predator. And we just need to stop this disgusting attitude towards them where we come up with a million excuses as to how they behave this. Well, the guy was, just a few years off 18. Like, maybe he looked grown up. Maybe she wasn't getting enough attention from her husband. Maybe, I mean, it's not like she's a pedophile. I mean, like, he's not a kid. He was 14. That's like close to being of age, right? Nah, no, you don't get to give him a pass like that. We should not be romanticizing predators in any way. And it just frustrated the hell out of me that we're talking about how hot this predator is. That's disgusting. That's it from me on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to come back next time. Check out my Instagram and all those other things. So, all right. Bless.